Announcement of action taken in closed session. Dana, could you read that, please?
Yes. We have varsity football assistant, classification stipend, classification detail, 2021 school year site, Hoopa Valley High School, new hire, name Bob Campbell, effective date to be announced, salary placement 1,533. A Karuk language instructor, classified 12 hours per week, 10 months, Orleans Elementary, new hire, Mimi Preston. Effective date 4/19/21, range K, step 1. Administrative assistant, public information officer, confidential, 8 hours, 260 days, district office, new hire, Dana Miguelina, 4/15/21, 1,687. Volunteer softball coach, non-stipend, 2021 school year, Hoopa Valley High School, new hire, Jordy Colgrove Avery, to be announced, and salary placement in A. Volunteer baseball coach, non-stipend, 2021 school year, Hoopa Valley High School, new hire, Joseph O'Rourke, effective date to be announced, salary placement in A. Volunteer baseball coach, non-stipend, classification detail, 2021 school year, Hoopa Valley High School, new hire, Alexander Hodge, effective date to be announced, salary placement in A. That's all I have for those.
Okay, thank you. Public comment and communication on non-agenda items.
Yes, we have.
Indian policies and procedures. During this portion of the meeting, members of the public may address the board on matters not on the agenda if such matters are within the subject jurisdiction of the board. Members of the public may address the board regarding items on this agenda immediately prior to their being discussed by the board. Time limits, generally 3 minutes per speaker, 20 minutes per subject, will be imposed by the board president. The board president may rule on the appropriateness of a topic. If the topic would be more suitably addressed at a later time, the president may indicate the time and place when it should be presented. The board shall not prohibit public criticism of its policies, procedures, programs, services, acts, or omissions as outlined in Government Code 54954.3. In addition, the board may not prohibit public criticism of district employees. Whenever a member of the public initiates specific complaints or charges against an employee, the board president shall inform the complainant that in order to protect the employee's right to adequate notice before a hearing of such complaints and charges, and also to preserve the ability of the board to legally consider the complaints or charges in any subsequent evaluation of the employee, it is the policy of the board to hear such complaints or charges in closed session unless otherwise requested by the employee pursuant to Government Code 54957. The board president shall also encourage the complainant to file a complaint using the appropriate district complaint procedure. So public comment and communication on non-agenda items to include policies and procedures. So Dana, you do have some for non-agenda items.
Yes. Going to begin to read.
Yes, please.
Okay. Dear board members, I am writing in support of my union and its negotiations for a salary schedule that supports longevity and retention of our teachers and staff, along with promoting the interest and hiring of the highly qualified teachers to the district. This is essential to well-being and education of our children. I also highly support our union president. Her Herculean efforts toward culturally responsive curriculum, social emotional learning, and arts integrated academics is noteworthy. Not only here in KT, but at the county office and other state programs. Her heart and soul and countless hours of labor are invested in the health and happiness of our children. Sincerely, Stephanie Sylvia, HVES, Hoopa Valley Elementary School. Next one, dear Board of Trustees, I am writing to you as a 10-year employee of KTJUSD to advocate for your dedicated classified employees. As a member of this ESEA negotiating team, we spent most of this school year negotiating for a cost of living increase. Over and over, they kept telling us that KTJUSD is broke and that they cannot afford to give us more than a 1% increase retro only to January 2021. It was recently brought to my attention that our district is holding on to a 14.47% reserve, where 4% is what is required by the state. There were instances during our negotiations where information, financial reports that we had been requested were simply not given until nearly the end of negotiations. I could go on, but really what I want you as our board members to know is that you are only being given partial information. Therefore, the decisions you are making are affecting your classified and certificated employees in a negative manner. Staff morale is extremely low right now throughout the district, yet we all come to work every day for our kids. They are what drives us. They are the reason we tolerate the negativity from the top down. Imagine if your staff felt supported from the top down instead of targeted when they raise questions or concerns. My hope is that you as a board will ask more questions when making decisions that affect your dedicated employees. Thank you for your time. Respectfully, Irma Tilton, Hoopa Valley High School Outreach Consultant. The next one, dear Board of Trustees, it has come to my attention the reassignment of Margaret Peters to fill a sub-teacher position in the Orleans Elementary School. I feel the need to write this letter to say that reassigning Margaret into this position and out of her current assignment as the district multi-tiered support system MTSS coordinator is a huge mistake. She and I had lengthy conversations about the benefits of having MTSS within our school district. We could see how this system would meet many needs that currently existed within the structure we function under now. One of the challenges our district faces is a lack of consistent leadership. Now, the case scenario has come true. Our MTSS leadership is being assigned to a teaching position in the last few weeks of school. Our team is devastated at the district's lack of support for all the time and effort we have put into this project thus far. I can speak from experience that being a part of the MTSS team at Hoopa Elementary School has taken dedication and self-sacrifice of my time, both professionally and personal. I have dedicated Saturdays to training and have attended many required meetings as well as optional working meetings. Our team is strong and has gradually built momentum to work efficiently and effectively as possible. With the help and guidance of our site principal and Margaret, we have done a good portion of the required work necessary to get this process started and to meet the requirements of the grant. Margaret has been an integral part of the entire grant process by coordinating most everything that is necessary for this grant to be successful. Now that she is no longer able to serve as the coordinator, my fear is that the team will lose momentum. As we are busy teaching and focused on serving students while in-person learning and distant teaching, my plate is already full and our focus and coordination has been the rock that we all lean on. When a teacher takes on a leadership role like the MTSS coordinator, we need to respect the position and personal commitment of that person. Please respect all the hard work our team has done and reinstall the coordinator back to that position of leadership. Respectfully, Kim Stevens, MTSS team member, Hoopa Elementary School. Next one. As an educator, cultural person, and believer in growth, mindset, and learning from mistakes, I humbly address the board to retract a statement included in a letter to the board during the April meeting. I know all staff is working very hard, and if any comments I ever make are received as unproductive or unsupportive, then I ask for the opportunity to make it right. My sincerest apologies to custodial staff for not being mindful of the impact of my words. I truly hope you all have received the offering of payment made, and we can collectively move forward in a good way. Respectfully, Maggie Peters. Here's another one. Dear Board of Trustees, I admire the dedication that you as a board have to this community, the schools and the staff that work in this district. This is why I'm writing this letter, to hopefully inform you of the issues that you may not be aware of. I have worked in the KT district for 21 years. I love my job and the school community I call my family, but most of all, I love the kids, their smiling faces, seeing them grow and learn, and the connection you make with them and their families, sometimes for a lifetime. It is disheartening to have to write a letter addressing the issues of unfairness, inequality for all employees, and the lack of transparency that has been ongoing. I am a classified employee and part of the bargaining team, and I can tell you it is a struggle to try to get a living wage for the classified unit. I feel we have to fight so hard and then to only be given a 1% increase retro back 6 months. That means I will be getting $142 for this year or $23 a month extra. It saddens me to think that I am not valued by my district for the job that I show up and do every day, especially when I hear that the confidential classified staff is poised to receive a salary schedule adjustment that will ensure a minimum increase in pay of $675 per month per employee. I'm not opposed to people getting a raise for a job well done, but I'm opposed to the unfairness and the lack of transparency that is being exhibited. I'm not sure if you are aware that the classified did not get a raise for the 2020 school year and offered a 1% for 6 months for the 2021 school year. The district received at least a 3% cost of living increase this year for its employees, but we are not offered the full COLA. So we have to live on less. When does this stop? When are we going to be valued for the work we do? Why is this full cost of living increase not offered to the classified unit? From the first day a child starts in TK to the last day as 12th grader, classified staff is here for them, transporting them to school. I have to stop there because that's 400 words and this one was over 500. Sincerely, respectfully, Billy Sanderson. Next one is to the governing board of the Clementine Unified School District. Good afternoon. My name is Robert Anderson and I have had the honor of serving the children of this community for 13 years. I have a BA in history, a BA in Native American studies, and working on a master's in American history to continue to improve my value to our community and our high school. I am writing briefly to discuss the economic points of how price reflects value and the goal of efficiency in spending choices. Pricing is usually understood as a tug of war between a consumer looking to get the lowest price and the supplier looking to make the greater price. However, this is not all that price does. Prices are indicators of value. A used sofa with a sign $100 or best offer will move much faster than a sign that says free. On the flip side, when we buy a cheaper product, we assume it will be of lower quality and care for it as an investment less. There is a pending offer pay from the district negotiators that signals such a message of low investment. A one-time payment based on current salary signals something different for at the top of the pay scale as it does the majority who are newer. Also, the proposed salary schedule offers starting pay for full-time administrative assistants that are notably higher than the starting salary for a teacher in our district who needs a college degree and a credential that the administrative assistant does not need to have. I only say that the starting pay disparity tied to this low offer makes the case that the district cares less for its newer teachers than it should. For the rest, like me, a continuing 3% COLA is reasonable given that the district is getting 4% COLA for personnel. The cost of living and working in our community is already higher than it is for teachers on the coast, and it will rise with the spikes in health insurance that are to come. The final point is one of economic efficiency. Someone may think skipping oil changes is a savings, but over time the repairs will cost more than the savings. A new teacher is simply less effective than an experienced one. As you should know, and that's at 400 words, so I had to stop. Respectfully, Robert Anderson, parent, teacher, and taxpayer. The last one is public comment 1D, item 5.
I'll have you read that when we get there.
No,
Okay.
I think she said 1D was closed, there was no subject. to that. So we just
okay.
put it in with we were not sure. where to
Okay,
put
go
it.
ahead and read it.
Okay. Dear Board Trustees, as part of Superintendent Glick's May 11, 2021 school board report, she stated, in order to eliminate confusion and prevent the duplication of efforts, I am going to retire the superintendent's ITech Facilities Committee. There has not been communication to the original superintendent's ITech Facilities Committee in regard to dismantling the group or an explanations of what confusion or duplication of services would occur in keeping the original committee. The newly formed committee has all the same members with the exception of the long-term invested staff, parents, and community members, board members, and KTJUSD facilities director. This is of concern due to the lack of transparency from the district and the oversight that the original group would have provided. The members of the now retired ITech Facilities Committee have some questions that we feel have not been answered. Will the original ITech Facilities Committee be put back in place once the district has the 2016 COP issue resolved? It was our belief that the appeals funding was originally slated for the ITech building along with the CTIEG grant of $3 million based on the superintendent's report for this board meeting. Is OPSC now requiring that funding to go towards paying off the old COP construction debt and not to be used for ITech? What is the dollar amount the OPSC is saying that we owe due to the breach of contract with the 2016 certificate of participation? It is also our belief that the district must provide a funding match for the $3 million CTIEG grant. Is that still the case? If so, where will that money come from? In terms of the ITech building, where does that leave us now in terms of the overall funding? How much will we have to spend once the OPSC part is finished? The recent RFQs that went out for advertisement for construction management services and architectural services seem to indicate we need services we have already paid for in phase 1 through 3 of previous construction. Where does the financial responsibility lie in previous construction management and architect companies that have had contracts to complete work in phase 1 through 3 of construction? It appears that we will be paying twice for services that should have been provided in some cases 4 to 5 years ago. Where was the oversight? Our students deserve a healthy environment to learn and a functioning ITech building. Sincerely, retired members Angie Brown, Irma Mattel, and Bill Sanderson. That's the last of the public comments.
Okay, thank you.
I think there may be some for items.
What's that?
There may be some for items.
Yeah. Okay, superintendent's report.
Do you all want me to read this? Because I know that not, or just summarize
I
it?
think a lot of people that are watching on YouTube don't have the packet.
And I would have had the pack. Okay.
Yeah, so I would like it on video.
Sure, I can read this. So it's my superintendent report from May 11th. So I break it into sections, so governance and administration. At the May 4th meeting, the board formed an ad hoc committee to seek solutions for resolving the issues related to the ITech building. In order to eliminate confusion and prevent the duplication of efforts, I'm going to retire the superintendent ITech committee, facilities committee. The district did not receive any bids for architectural services for the ITech building. We will reopen the bidding process immediately. The administrative financial team is comprised of the superintendent, assistant superintendent, and staff from HCOE, Capital Advisors, East Shore Consulting, and Lozano Smith. The team met with the Office of Public School Construction, OPSC, on Tuesday, May 4th. We have an agreement with OPSC to present a financial plan to retire the 2016 Certificate of Participation, COP. The prevailing idea, which was acceptable to OPSC, is to utilize one-time funding to offset expenses out of our unrestricted resource. OPSC is willing to release the appeals funding that is due to the district once we present a financial plan. The expectation is that the appeals funding will be applied to the COP payment. OPSC is requiring a financial plan that identifies how the district will resolve the 2016 COP before the agency enters into discussions regarding the financial situation for the ITech building. The administrative financial team's next meeting with OPSC is scheduled for June. Student services, we have summer school or extended summer learning opportunities. The interest survey from families went out last week, and it's due back to school sites on May 12th. So we'll have updates on staffing needs once we have the student interest from families, and those went out directly from school sites. There is a proposal for a behavior learning classroom on tonight's agenda for the board to consider. Local control and accountability plan. The LCAP was discussed extensively at the special board meeting with tribal leadership and the IPP task force on May 4th and at the IPP task force meeting on May 5th. Labor relations. The district has met with KTTA 6 times for negotiations for the successor agreement to the collective bargaining agreement between parties. We're in the process of scheduling another session. Parties continue to work together to reach agreement on a successor agreement. The parties are actively engaged in negotiating a financial compensation package proposal for 2020-21 and 2021-22. At the most recent bargaining session on May 6th, KTTA and the district presented a number of counter proposals back and forth. The parties have reached conceptual agreement on the 2020-2021 compensation, which would result in a one-time payment for this year to each bargaining unit member of approximately $4,600. However, the parties continue to negotiate for the 2021-22 compensation. The district and KTTA have reached conceptual agreement on health and welfare benefits. As to salary for 21-22, KTTA has proposed an on-schedule 3% raise. The district proposed a one-time off-schedule increase of 3.75 to each bargaining unit member, which would cost the district approximately $253,781.50. The parties are also negotiating over additional professional development days at an increased rate of pay. As the parties are negotiating a package, there is not a tentative agreement until all package items are satisfactory to both parties, and the parties may adjust any item that has already been agreed upon in concept in order to reach the final agreement. It is the district's hope that the parties can reach agreement on the remaining item at our next bargaining session. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, consent agenda. The board will approve the following items by a single vote unless any member of the board or public asks that an item be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. The recommendation is to approve the consent agenda. Did we have any public requests?
No.
For the consent agenda items?
No, none for the consent agenda items.
Okay, I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I would like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda with corrections to the business calendar, which is item J. On item J, the 10th month should be May 16th to June 10th, which right now it's May 16th to May 10th. And also on the 11th month, it should be June 13th to June 17th. And right now it's May 13th to June 17th. So those corrections need to be made. Is there a second?
Yeah, is there a second?
I'll second.
Rob will second. There's been a motion by Carrie, a second by Rob to approve the consent agenda with the two corrections on item J. Any discussion? If not, roll call vote.
Roll call. Lara Colgrove.
Yes.
Trustee George.
Yes.
Trustee Myers. Debbie, is she there? Trustee Myers?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Sorry, yes.
That's okay. Trustee Waddy?
Yes.
Trustee McLaughlin, did she come back or?
Haven't seen her.
Okay. And Trustee Purcell is absent. So five yes and 2 absent.
Okay, so the consent agenda is approved. We will go to the action items, item 7A. 7A is the board seeks to enter into an employment agreement with the superintendent. The proposed agreement is a 3-year contract beginning July 1, 2021 and ending June 30th, 2024. The contract sets the superintendent's annual salary at $130,050 for 220 days of service. The superintendent has the option to work an additional 10 days each calendar year at her daily rate. The proposed agreement provides the superintendent with health and welfare benefits comparable to the certificated staff of the district. The proposed agreement also provides the superintendent with 12 days of sick leave and 15 days of vacation on an annual basis. Vacation accrual is capped at 30 days. Additionally, the proposed contract provides the superintendent with membership in 3 professional organizations, the opportunity to attend the AXA Superintendent Symposium and the Small School District Association's annual conferences, a monthly cell phone stipend of $100, a monthly expense stipend of $200, and a monthly automobile stipend of $350. The recommendation is to approve the employment agreement between KTJUSD and the superintendent. I will entertain a motion to approve the contract.
This is Carrie Waddy, and I move that we approve the contract.
Carrie Waddy moves. Is there a second?
Yeah, I'll second.
Rob seconds. Discussion? There's no discussion. Roll call vote.
Roll call vote. Trustee Waddy,
Aye.
trustee Wild,
Aye.
trustee Lara Colgrove,
Yes.
trustee George,
Yes.
trustee Myers,
Yes.
and absent McLaughlin.
Yes. Did you get it?
Oh. Okay, so five present, yes, and 2 absent.
The contract is approved. Action item 7B, consideration and establishment of principal for Jack Norton Elementary School and Witchpeck Yurok Magnet Elementary School. The recommendation is to approve a full-time 1.0 FTE position for a principal of Jack Norton Elementary School and Witchpeck Yurok Magnet Elementary School for the 2021-2022 school year. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll motion approved.
Rob moves. Is there a
Yes, this
second?
is Debbie. I second that. This is Debbie.
Yes, I
I
go.
second that.
Okay, discussion.
Yes, I did.
Any discussion? I would.
I just want to say thank you. Yeah. Go ahead.
I would like to say that for years, Jack Norton Elementary especially has been able to be run very efficiently with the master teachers that they had there for years. We currently have new teachers and it is rural there, and with the one-time COVID funding and with the social emotional issues that have been very severe downriver, I think that this 1 year trial of a full-time principal would be in the student's best interest. Other discussion?
I just want to say thank you. This is Debbie. I want to say thank you, Laura Lee. Those were, what I wanted to say. Thank you very much, all you board members.
Okay. Roll call vote?
Roll call. Trustee Wild,
Aye.
trustee Lara Colgrove,
Speak up.
Yes.
trustee George,
Yes.
trustee Myers, trustee Waddy,
Language.
Yes.
Trustee McLaughlin and trustee Brissell are absent. So it's 5 approved, 2 absent.
Okay, the motion is approved. Item action 7C, approval of new certificated position English language arts curriculum and literacy coach. The recommendation is to approve the job description and open the position immediately as a 3-year term. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Rob moves. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Carrie seconds. Discussion.
Is this,
Jan, is this the, we previously had this position, the job description in the district, and it's been a while since it's been filled.
And this is actually slightly different because there were some positions that were support for literacy and they were specific to schools. So that was one thing that was not gonna work because we'll do the curriculum adoption district-wide. And then there was really outdated language. And I don't know the last time that somebody actually held the position. It was called reading coach. And, you know, to kind of bring it up to contemporary, we wanted to use the word literacy. And with the hopes of there being new curriculum next year, we wanted to really include that. We know that rolling out new curriculum or a literacy initiative at any school site across the district is going to require the support. So it's different, but we had some models and we just made sure it's contemporary.
so this person is going to support the new curriculum, the teachers?
Yes.
Teaching the new curriculum
Yes. It's a heavy lift.
for one person.
And this also is for 3 years and will be paid for with some of our one-time funding.
Yeah, we actually thought that this could be, we can use Title I because it is so directly tied to, you know, student services. So we get quite a bit of money that's Title I, and there's really, like all federal funding, it's very strict, and this would absolutely fit that kind of expenditure too.
So if we have success for 3 years, there's likely that we can continue with this position.
I think
That funding will funding.
Title I would be ongoing, yes.
Okay, I guess I should have read. I'm not used to this, two different positions being
yeah.
on each side of the paper.
Yeah, I have some input from the board about the printing process, so.
So the information on here was the California Schools Dashboard, local measurements, and stakeholder input indicate that early literacy instruction is a priority for our district. The current English language arts materials that are used in the elementary grades have a publishing date of 2003. The curriculum committee has been reviewing TK 6th grade English language arts curriculum in order to make a recommendation for the new ELA adoption. Additionally, our district has identified professional development that supports classroom teachers, literacy paraprofessionals, and academic tutors as an essential component of a successful literacy plan. Successful initiation and implementation of a district-wide literacy initiative will require robust and consistent supports for site and grade level teams. This new position will provide those supports to the elementary schools and will complement the early literacy support grant process that Hoopa Elementary has been engaged in this year. Okay, any other discussion? Roll call vote. Did you have?
Yeah, I had a question. I just wanted to be sure that the position that we were actively advocating for or reaching out and trying to get applicants, that we weren't handpicking somebody, but this is going to be advertised.
Okay, roll call vote.
Roll call, trustee Lair Cogrove,
Yeah.
trustee Cogrove,
Yeah.
okay, trustee George,
Yes.
trustee Myers, Debbie,
You're muted, Debbie.
trustee Waddy,
Yes.
Yes.
trustee Wild,
Yes.
trustee Myers, Trustee McLaughlin?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
thank you. Trustee McLaughlin and trustee Purcell are absent. The vote is 5 yes and 2 absent.
The motion passes. Action item 7D, approval of new program and positions, behavior support classroom. The recommendation is to authorize the administration to open 3 new positions, 1 certificated teacher and 2 classified instructional aides to staff the life behavior support classroom. Do I have a motion to discuss? Or to approve, excuse me.
I move we approve this behavior support classroom.
Is there a second? Okay,
I agree. I second that.
okay,
yeah, I
it's
second
been
that.
moved. It's been moved by,
Yeah.
hey, you do. It's been moved by who?
Debbie can do it.
By Debbie moved, who seconded?
Carrie
I
moved.
moved and Debbie seconded.
Carrie moved and Debbie seconded. Okay. Information, the administration seeks to implement therapeutic learning classroom at Trinity Valley Elementary School. This classroom is a general education support that also provides supports to students who receive special education services. Please see the attached description of the program. Financial impact: implementing this program requires employing 1 additional teacher and 2 additional instructional aides. The financial impact will be the cost of the 3 positions on the salary schedules plus benefits. The recommendation is to authorize the administration to open 3 new positions, 1 certificated teacher and 2 classified instructional aides to staff the life behavior support classroom at Trinity Valley. Jen, do you want to add more to that?
Well, I did want to let you know if you have specific questions, Craig Kimball and Jacqueline McCullough are on the call. I asked them to come in case you had specific questions about their site. As you can see, we have a couple different names, so that's something that will be in the works, but the concept is to really provide an extremely supportive classroom that students may be placed in for the year or maybe short term, very small. And Craig and Jacqueline have had a number of conversations, and we had Mindy come and do a presentation, and Self is really excited and supportive, and they gave us some words of caution or words of wisdom, but it was caution that programs like this need support to be successful. So I think that Trinity Valley and the conversations that have happened between the principal and our special ed director are excellent, because one of the things Heather said to us was having a site that is willing and ready can be the really deciding factor. So if any of you want to ask Jacqueline McCullough or Craig Kimball about the willingness or any details, it's really in the initial phases. And I can see them there on the screen. So any specific questions, you can ask any of the 3 of us.
I have a question here. Item 7D, approval of a new program and positions, behavior support classroom. And then the next E is approval of new classified position. Are those tied together or are they separate?
Separate. That other position, which is behavior specialist, would be somebody that would not be specifically tied to this classroom. They would offer supports, but
For the
that's
district, not for Trinity Valley.
correct. But this looks like, this is a teaching position.
Okay, I'd like to hear from Dr. Kimball and a little bit how this would work.
Thank you, Trustee George. So the identification of students who have behavioral challenges is something that's ongoing, but we want to make sure that we have a thoughtful and thorough process for identifying the specific need and offering supports, behavioral supports prior to making arrangements for a child to attend this classroom. So this is not going to be a situation where a child has one behavioral challenge and then is sent to this behavioral learning classroom environment. There will continue to be behavior plans that will be created that will address specific needs. If, however, the behavioral challenges are not addressed at earlier stages, then we have a facility, a classroom, a place where students can be part of the regular school site and participate with general ed activities as much as possible, but will be able to go in for somewhere between 30 minutes to 3 hours of behavioral support, depending on the level that they need.
One of the really neat things about this program as well is that it's not just for special education students. This is also for gen ed students. So any student, that potentially needs behavioral support could receive services in this program.
And excuse me, this is Debbie Myers. Hello.
Yes,
And I
Yes.
had a question. Yes, is this a classroom that's offered at, say, like Hoopa Elementary or the high school or Orleans or any of our other schools?
So
Not yet.
a couple of years ago, we had this very same class and it was housed at Hoopa L because they had the highest number of students with those behavioral needs. Students from other sites were able to participate by being transported to Hoopa L. At this time, the greatest need is for Trinity Valley. And so because there's classroom space available and a principal and a behavioral team that's willing to support it, we're going to go ahead and have this classroom there. And as the program gets established over the next few months and we identify other students who have needs across the district, we will make arrangements to provide that support to them at the Trinity Valley site.
Oh, wow. So all students would have to be transported there, even if they were coming from Witchbeck or Jack Norton?
Well, we have to remember, to answer your question, yes, but we have to remember that there's a lot of behavior interventions that take place prior to a student needing to go to this classroom for additional help. This is like a tier 3, a highest level of behavior intervention that can be offered. This is not just the first or second tier, which are taken care of through regular behavioral supports in their classrooms and by other staff that we have.
Are there other questions? Discussion? Now with our high encroachment for the special ed program, will this help cut down eventually on some of those costs?
Well, it certainly does, because we often find comorbidity between behavior and learning disabilities. So it's hard to know sometimes whether the behavior is interfering with the child's ability to learn, or whether it's the difficulty of learning that's creating the behavior. So we do know that when we have earlier interventions, we see a reduction in need for students moving into special ed. We're also going to increase the academic learning ability for not just the student that has the behavioral challenge, but also those whose learning may be disrupted because of a particular student. So there's going to be a lot of benefits to having this this program up and going again in the district. But again, this is a tier 3 intervention, and we're going to continue with our tier 1 and tier 2 interventions, which will also reduce the number of students that move towards special ed services and costs.
Thank you. Any other comments, questions? Call for the question, roll call vote?
Roll call, trustee George,
Yes.
trustee Myers,
Yes.
trustee Wild,
Yes.
trustee Waddy,
Yes,
trustee Lara Colgrove,
Yeah,
trustee McLaughlin and Purcell are both absent. So it's 5 yes, 2 absent.
The motion is approved. We'll move to item 7E. Item 7E, disposition, new classified,
It's that short. It's only
new
recommendation.
classified position behavior specialist. The position and salary range have been approved by CSEA. This recommendation is to approve the job description for a new classified position, behavior specialist. Numbering system.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's confusing. Okay. Jen, you wanna?
Do you want to take a motion first and then?
I think I do. I,
Craig, don't go far though.
I will entertain a motion to approve the new classified position behavior specialist.
this is Carrie Waddy, and I would like to make a motion to approve the new classified position behavioral specialist.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Rob seconds. Discussion.
I did want to say that this is a do-over. I brought this position to the board before. And it was when, at the time, when we did not have the salary schedule finalized for CSEA. So we had agreed to the new placement. We didn't have the salary schedule ratified. So now it's clean. We have an agreement as to the description of the duties of the job, what range it would be placed on, and the $2,500 additional stipend for national board certification. So the behavior specialist is a service that we contract with the County Office of Education's, and maybe Craig would correct me on this, the SELPA, for to be able to do things like functional behavior analysis, give support to school staff when in their providing really responsive classroom environments. There aren't a lot of districts that are able to kind of carry this position independently. And, we have a lot of small school districts in Humboldt County that contract this service out. So Craig Kimball and I have had a bunch of discussions about how we kind of grow our own and have some autonomy. We know that we would be supported by the SELPA and the county. They absolutely want our to succeed, but we felt like this is, a highly qualified position that would afford us a lot of flexibility. So I was going to do it incrementally in steps. I mean, would be under the direction of the special education director, but we know that behaviors needs and supports at school sites are, with all of our kids, and so we want it to be more in the general education realm, so that it's a service that's afforded to all students. Craig, do you have things to add that are better descriptors of this? Yes.
Yes, I think one thing I would mention is the great win for us is we'll have a behavioral specialist individual that's going to be available for the full time that our students are in school. Right now, a big part of the cost we pay for daily support from the county, 3 hours of that time is just drive time. So we might have them come over for 6 hours of support, but they're actually in the district only 3 hours. So as Jen mentioned, by providing one of our own who can accomplish these same tasks, we're going to have twice the amount of support and a whole nother level of support as well. One that will has higher levels of training, board certification, and can provide a lot of training support to our classified as well as our certificated staff.
Now, is this going to be an ongoing position or a 3-year with our special funding?
And that's why I didn't have a recommendation. I thought the first step was get the position in concept approved, and I didn't know if we either want to decide to fly it as, because this clearly would meet the goals of some of the COVID funding because of the return to school, re-instructing kids on behaviors. It certainly could be funded through some of the ESSER funds, because one of the things that comes up with COVID money is providing school environments that are welcoming so that kids are coming to school. So it could be there. Traditionally, I think the contracted service is paid out of special education, Craig, correct? When we
Our
contract.
contracted service to the county is paid out of special ed.
And
Yes.
so if it was something that was offered as a service to all students, it would not have to come out of special education. We're concerned about
I'm concerned about our ongoing expenditures with our financial outlook. And so I personally, and I don't know about the other board members, would think that we should put it on a 3-year trial basis. And then if we can afford from our budget after that, then we would take action and reapprove for a longer term.
I have a question. This doesn't replace the service that we contract with the county for.
Would this,
In addition to,
It will.
I'll let Craig answer that.
It will not replace the services that we may need to get from the county, but it will certainly reduce our need to contract with the county for the amount of support that we do. The county support is going to cost a lot more per occurrence than this position will. But I think Trustee George has a good point, and that is, if we want to do this for 3 years, if we want to really track the data very carefully and see exactly how this has benefited the students and the school, I think that that's certainly something that we should do. So, but it's also possible that the position can be approved and that for the first 3 years, the COVID funding would be where it's paid from.
so he didn't really answer my question. Is he going to stop contracting with the county?
Oh, no.
Or are we going to continue?
We would continue contracting, but not to the extent. The county they have people who have years of experience, and we also with, when we hire for this position, we'll fly the job, we'll hire, and depending on where the person is at with their experience and their support certification, they may need to have that supervision from the county. So we won't cut that quite yet. But what Craig was saying is, this is a better investment for us, and it would reduce what we need to have the county coming up. So we would just have our own person.
And I want to ask Carrie and Rob, you made the motion. Would you want to amend it or leave it as it is?
Well, if we leave it as it is, could it still go for the 3 years, or do we need to put the 3-year idea in there with it so that it'll be covered by the COVID funding?
That's my thinking, is that, and I'm also concerned about our ongoing spending deficit.
Okay, well, I would like to amend my motion and say that I would like to approve the new classified position of behavioral specialist for the next 3 years.
I would support that.
You'll support that, okay. Carrie amended her motion to approve the new classified behavior specialist position on a 3-year basis to use the COVID funding to fund this. Any more discussion? Debbie, do you have any? If
No,
not,
I'm fine with that. That sounds good. Yeah,
okay,
I'm good.
roll call vote.
Roll call. Trustee Waddy,
Yes.
trustee George,
Yes.
trustee Wild,
Yes.
trustee Larry Colgrove,
Yeah.
trustee Myers,
E,
trustees McLaughlin and Purcell absent. It's 5 yes, 2 absent.
The motion passes. Go to item 7F, Trinity Valley Elementary School Plan for Student Achievement. The Trinity Valley Elementary School Site Council has approved the school plan using Title I funds and comprehensive support and improvement federal funds. The recommendation is to approve Trinity Valley Elementary's 2020-2021 school site plan for student achievement. Do I have a motion?
I'll move.
yes, I make a motion. This is Debbie Myers. Okay.
I'll second.
Debbie
Somebody
moves,
else
Rob
got in front of me.
seconds. Rob seconds.
Okay,
Under discussion, I went through the plan. I think it's great. I did find a couple of places where food and refreshments would be paid from Title I. And I do believe, and Carmen, could you confirm that food is not an acceptable expenditure under Title I?
Yes.
Yeah.
Jacqueline,
I'm sorry. I thought I took that out. I apologize. Can you do an amended? Take that part out? I don't think it's, let's see. I have my plan here, so.
It was in a couple of spots.
Is it for, like a parent night or something like that?
Yeah, there was.
Because I
refreshment.
meant.
Parent night, and there was one other spot that I noticed.
Oh, okay. I meant for the funding to not be used for food, that it would be used for like activities for the night instead. We did have that in last year's plan. And so I kind of had, just basically rolled those over. And so I thought I took the food out because I knew better. I apologize. I'm slapping my own hand. Carmi was like, no food, no food. Title I doesn't pay for food. So.
It is under strategy. I don't have page numbers on here.
I know.
But
That's okay. If you,
but strategy activity 11,
okay.
council monthly meetings to review school happenings, provide funding for subs when needed and refreshments.
Okay. What was, it's just 11? No.
There's strategy.
Strategy activity 11.
Okay. Sorry, I'm looking for it so I can at least explain.
yeah, sorry, Jacqueline, it printed funky without page numbers. So it's under goal 2.
Okay, goal 2, strategy 11.
And then again, goal 3.
Okay.
Right above strategy activity 4, so it must be activity.
Okay, can we just take out on 2.11? Could I take out and refreshments, just that, and just provide funding for subs when needed? On
We
2.11?
can take out refreshments, we can cross that out.
Okay, and then what was the other area, Lauralee? I'm sorry.
It's
Did you say goal 3?
strategy activity 3,
Okay,
and then it says 3.3 community activities evenings.
okay,
Including ELA, math, science fair, history, yada, 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 yada.
yeah.
Last line is include
Okay.
meals and foods and takeaways.
So can we just say include takeaways? And then if I do any meals, I won't use Title I. I mean, it's part of the community activity that we would serve a meal, so, but not to be paid out of Title I, correct?
Right, okay, we
Okay,
can,
I'm sorry about that.
so.
yeah.
It's the understanding that the motion approves those two corrections. Okay,
Yes, I understand that. Yes, I approve that.
okay, so any other comments or discussion on the plan? If not, roll call vote.
Nope, I'm good.
Okay, roll call. Trustee Lara Colgrove,
Yeah.
trustee George,
Yes,
trustee Myers,
E,
trustee Wild,
Yes.
trustee Waddy,
Yes.
trustees McLaughlin and Purcell are absent. So it's 5 yes and 2 absent.
the motion carries. Now we go to information items. District reports, Assistant Superintendent of Student Services has submitted a written report. Thank you for the report. Assistant, was there anything else that you needed to add to that?
No,
No, I feel it's
just information. so
Okay, this is our
questions?
information, so I really appreciate it.
Pretty.
Okay,
School sites.
we have gotten reports from Orleans, we've gotten a report from they're on it shows on our agenda. Assistant Superintendent of Student Services report, Assistant Superintendent Business Services has a report, Orleans Elementary Board report, Trinity Valley Elementary School, Captain John May Board report, Witchpeg here at Magnet Elementary School has a report, high school has a site evaluation spring metric, which was very interesting. Thank you. Hoopa Valley High School Board report, Jack Norton report, employee group reports, and trustee area reports. I do have a couple I need paper. I do have a letter to share with the board, a note. It's a thank you. KTJUSD Board Trustees, thank you so very much for the opportunity to present special education overview to year one. I will be happy to you. I will be happy to support you, your staff, and students and families in any way the SELPA can. Sincerely, Lindy Fatty. I also wanted to clarify that at our special board meeting with the tribes, that I did, as president of the school board, appoint an ad hoc committee on the ITech building. I have appointed Sue Bursell as the lead, Kadusha Lara Colgrove, and Jim McQuillan on the committee. And as the president, I am an ex officio member. The purpose is to conduct exploratory research to identify potential partners amongst the tribes and College of the Redwoods in collaborating with KTJUSD regarding the development, uses, and potential resources for the career technical education facility. The ad hoc committee will give progress reports periodically back to the board. I did that because of the severity of our funding outlook with OPSC And in a lot of the other areas, also our deficit spending with our general fund, and we needed to ramp up to a higher level to see if we can get buy-in from the tribes and College of the Redwoods, who have historically used our facilities, to see if we can get broader resources coming in to help us build the facility faster. So that was my purpose. I hope that I'm being as transparent as I can. I do welcome questions, and I do have my phone number on the district website. So if anyone has questions on that, I am open to questions on what my motives were and what the reasons are. I also want to give my thanks and appreciation to all of the hardworking employees, both administrative, confidential, the teachers, and the classified. It has been a horrendous year. It has been fraught with unprecedented situations new to education in our nation and worldwide. It has caused us to rethink how education is being delivered. And I think we will have positive outcomes for years to come. I am particularly impressed with the online, my technology verbiage is not there up to speed anymore. But with the virtual lessons that have been produced that can be used in a wider context, classrooms, et cetera, I have been very impressed with the adaptation of our staff and our employees. We have not forgotten you. We do know that when the state budget is adopted and we have a hard line on what our funding is, the board will take more actions. Right now, with only a governor's proposal for a COLA, that is something that we can't take to the bank. So we are hearing everyone's concerns, and bear with us. You are not forgotten. Thank you. Any other board reports? Debbie, do you have any?
I'm good. Oh, no, I'm good. I appreciate everything and all the hard work of all of our employees from, all the way around. And so I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, if there are no more comments, I will entertain a motion for adjournment. Rob moves.
I make a motion. Oh, go ahead.
Debbie seconds.
Yes, I second.
Roll call. Yeah, we got your second.
Roll call.
Yes. Okay.
Trustee Myers, Trustee
Yes.
Waddy,
Yes.
Trustee Lara Colgrove,
Yeah.
Trustee Wild,
Yes.
Trustee George,
Yes.
Trustees McLaughlin and Purcell are absent. 5 yes, 2 absent.
The motion is approved. We are adjourned.
Okay.